The greatest lie you've ever been told is that you are meant to be safe. We have built a civilization that worships the padded chair, the climate-controlled room, and the endless, numbing scroll of the digital void. We call it making it, but in reality, it is a slow, comfortable suicide of the soul. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they have become allergic to friction. They are waiting for the perfect conditions to act, not realizing that perfection is the graveyard of the great. Your comfort is not a reward for your hard work. It is the rust that is quietly eating away at your sword. While you sleep in the warmth of your indecision, the world belongs to those who are willing to be cold, hungry, and dangerously focused. Welcome to the Thinking Pillow. Today, we will navigate through the brutal necessity of friction using the timeless, imperial wisdom of Julius Caesar. Caesar did not conquer Gaul from a palace. He conquered it by sleeping on the bare ground with his men, by being the first to cross the freezing rivers, and by understanding that a leader who is too comfortable is a leader who is already defeated. To follow this Caesar protocol is to declare war on your own complacency. It is to recognize that every time you choose the easy path, you are crowning your own mediocrity. We are not here to discuss a morning routine or a productivity hack. We are here to talk about the reclamation of your internal empire. We are here to understand why the very things you think are protecting you, your safety nets, your excuses, your self-care days, are actually the bars of your cage. The Roman elite didn't dominate the known world because they were lucky. They dominated because they viewed comfort as a luxury for the conquered. If you want to rule your life, you must first learn to despise the couch. The storm is coming, and while others seek shelter, the sovereign seeks the eye of the hurricane. There is a specific kind of rot that settles in when the waters are still. In the ancient world, a ship that stayed in the harbor too long didn't stay safe. It decayed, its wood warped, its hull collected barnacles, and its crew lost the memory of the stars. You are that ship. You have traded the thrill of the horizon for the security of the dock. We are living in an era of soft tyranny, where our own desires for ease have become our most efficient jailers. We avoid the difficult conversation, we skip the grueling workout, and we delay the terrifying project because we have been conditioned to believe that feeling good is the ultimate goal of human existence. It isn't. Feeling good is a byproduct of doing something difficult. It is not the destination. Julius Caesar understood that the moment an army stops moving, it begins to die. He moved with a speed that terrified his enemies, often arriving at the battlefield before they even knew he had crossed the border. This wasn't just military strategy, it was a psychological imperative. He knew that momentum is the only thing that keeps doubt at bay. When you sit still, your mind has time to manufacture 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't act. It tells you that you're tired, that you're not ready, or that the risk is too high. These aren't insights. They are the whispers of a coward living inside you. The Roman elite trained themselves to be uncomfortable on purpose. They took cold baths, they walked long distances, and they practiced premeditatio malorum, the visualization of disaster, not to become depressed, but to become unbreakable. They knew that if you can endure the worst in your mind, the world can no longer surprise you. You must stop waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is a fickle friend that leaves the moment the temperature drops. You need something colder. You need the ironclad resolve of a man who knows that his only alternative to conquest is irrelevance. The second greatest lie is that there is a destination where you can finally stop. We are sold a dream of retirement, of a beach, of a life where the problems finally end. This is a mirage. Life is not a series of problems to be solved so that you can finally rest. Life is the process of engaging with higher quality problems. The moment you stop striving for more, you don't stay at the top. Usted comienza a descender. Caesar was never satisfied with just being a consul or a general. Every victory was merely the foundation for the next campaign. He understood that the human spirit is like a fire. It requires constant fuel to stay alive. If you stop adding wood, the embers go cold, and the darkness moves in. Most people are working for a someday that will never come. They say, "I'll start my business when I have more money," or "I'll focus on my health when work slows down." Work never slows down. The money is never enough. The only thing that changes is the amount of time you have left. By choosing comfort today, you are borrowing against your future self, and the interest rates are catastrophic. The elite of Rome didn't see peace as a time for relaxation. They saw it as a time for simulated war. They used the intervals between battles to sharpen their minds and harden their bodies. They knew that the finish line is a myth invented by those who want to sell you a shortcut. There are no shortcuts to sovereignty. There is only the daily, relentless grind of pushing against your own limits. If you find yourself in a season of ease, be afraid. It means you are no longer growing. It means the walls of your empire are thinning. You must learn to find peace in the struggle itself, to love the weight of the armor, and to realize that the only true rest is found in the grave. Until then, we march. In every city, it is not the great walls that are the first to fall. It is the small, unguarded gates. In your life, these gates are the tiny habits of comfort that you think don't matter. The extra 10 minutes in bed. The slight hesitation before a task. The choice of a sugary snack over a disciplined meal. You tell yourself these are small things, but Caesar knew that a single crack in a dam is enough to drown a valley. Discipline is not a one-time event. It is a series of microscopic victories. Every time you say no to a minor comfort, you are reinforcing the gates of your mind. Every time you give in, you are inviting the enemy inside. The Roman elite practiced what we might call strategic deprivation. They would purposefully sleep on the floor once a week or eat only basic grains for a day, even when they had access to feasts. This wasn't about being poor. It was about proving to themselves that they were not slaves to their possessions or their appetites. If you cannot go 24 hours without your phone, your caffeine, or your comfort, you are not a free man. You are a well-fed prisoner. You must audit your life for these minor gates. Where are you leaking discipline? Where have you allowed, just this once, to become your standard operating procedure? Caesar's soldiers followed him into the unknown not just because of his genius, but because they saw him suffer alongside them. He didn't ask them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Leadership over others begins with a brutal leadership over yourself. You cannot expect to conquer your industry, your field, or your dreams if you cannot even conquer the urge to hit the snooze button. The empire of the mind is built stone by stone, habit by habit, and it can be dismantled just as easily by 1,000 small concessions. True sovereignty is a lonely road. Most people want the rewards of the conqueror without the isolation of the conquest. They want to be part of the crowd, to be liked, to be normal. But Caesar knew that you cannot lead the pack while running with it. To choose the path of the elite is to accept that you will be misunderstood by those who prioritize comfort. They will call you obsessed. They will call you too much. They will try to pull you back into the warmth of the average because your drive makes them feel insecure about their own stagnation. You must be willing to walk alone in the dark if you want to see the dawn before everyone else. The Roman elite understood that your circle is either an engine or an anchor. Caesar chose men who were as hungry as he was, men who viewed comfort with the same suspicion. If you are surrounded by people who celebrate your cheat days more than your victories, you are in a graveyard. You must protect your environment with the same ferocity that Caesar protected his borders. This solitude isn't about being lonely. It's about being focused. It's about creating a space where the noise of the world cannot reach you. In the silence of the wilderness, away from the distractions of the forum, that is where the real strategies are born. Most people are afraid of silence because in the silence, they have to face the fact that they are unhappy with who they have become. The sovereign embraces the silence. He uses it to listen to the only voice that matters, the one that tells him he hasn't done enough yet. We are coming to the end of this navigation, but for you, the campaign is just beginning. The sofa is calling. The warmth is inviting. The easy path is wide and paved. What will you choose? To be a subject of your own desires, or the architect of your own empire? Most people live in a state of perpetual almost. They are always preparing, always planning, always waiting for the perfect moment to cross their Rubicon. But the perfect moment is a myth, a comfortable excuse whispered by fear. Caesar famously declared, "Alia iacta estate," the die is cast, as he crossed the Rubicon River, an act of irreversible commitment that ignited a civil war and forever changed the course of Rome. This wasn't recklessness. It was the ultimate act of strategic resolve. He understood that true power is found not in endless deliberation, but in decisive, irrevocable action. Once you commit, the universe conspires to make it happen, not because it's magic, but because your mind stops wasting energy on doubt and redirects it all towards victory. We are paralyzed by options. We spend hours comparing, contrasting, and consuming information, convinced that more data will lead to a better decision. But what it often leads to is inaction. The Roman elite knew that a bad decision acted upon is often more valuable than a perfect decision perpetually delayed. How many opportunities have you missed because you were still thinking about it? How many dreams have withered because you were waiting for a clearer sign? Caesar knew that once the die is cast, there is no turning back, no second-guessing, only forward momentum. This mindset is the antidote to modern indecision. It means cutting off your escape routes, burning the ships, and forcing yourself to find a way to win. It is the raw, visceral commitment that separates the emperors from the armchair strategists. The Rubicon in your life is not a physical river. It's the point of no return, the moment you decide that comfortable, almost, is no longer an option. What will you cross today? In the modern age, we are obsessed with shortcuts and efficiency hacks that promise maximum output for minimum effort. But Caesar understood that true mastery is forged in the crucible of sustained, brutal effort, the forced march. His legions were legendary not just for their fighting prowess, but for their ability to cover impossible distances in record time, often surprising their enemies before they could even form battle lines. This wasn't about speed for its own sake. It was about building an unbreakable mental and physical resilience that eroded the will of any adversary. It was about proving to themselves, every single day, that they could endure more than they thought possible. Your greatest enemy is not procrastination. It is the belief that you are entitled to ease. The moment you expect things to be easy, you surrender your power. The Roman elite didn't just train for battle. They lived for the grind. They embraced the discomfort of long marches, sparse meals, and constant vigilance because they knew that the discipline cultivated in peacetime was the only thing that would save them in war. What is your forced march today? Is it working for an extra hour when your body screams for rest? Is it tackling the most daunting task on your list first, when your mind begs for distraction? Caesar didn't ask his men to do what was comfortable. He demanded what was necessary, and in that necessity, they found their strength. Stop looking for hacks. Start looking for friction. The path to your internal empire is paved with sweat, not shortcuts. The world bombards you with illusions. The illusion of safety, the illusion of perfection, the illusion that happiness is found outside of ruthless self-honesty. Most people avoid uncomfortable truths like a plague. They surround themselves with echo chambers, filter their social feeds, and retreat into comforting narratives, never truly facing the raw, unfiltered reality of their own limitations or the brutal truths of the world. But Caesar, like the greatest Roman Stoics, understood the power of confronting reality head-on, no matter how cold or harsh it felt. They practiced what we might call the cold bath of truth, a daily immersion in what is, not what they wished were. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. It's about stripping away the layers of self-deception that keep you weak. Are you truly productive, or just busy? Is your venture truly thriving, or just surviving on hope? Are your relationships built on honesty, or on comfortable lies? The Roman elite built an empire on pragmatism, not on wishful thinking. They planned for the worst and hoped for the best. They celebrated victories but meticulously analyzed every defeat. If you want to build an unshakable mind, you must be willing to sit with uncomfortable truths, to feel the sting of self-critique, and to let go of the comforting fictions you tell yourself. Only in that cold clarity can genuine strength be forged. Stop seeking comfort in denial. Seek power in brutal honesty. The truth, like a cold bath, will shock you at first, but it will leave you invigorated and ready for anything. In the modern arena, your most valuable currency is not money, it is your attention. And most people are bankrupt. They squander it on endless notifications, irrelevant debates, and the digital equivalent of Roman circuses designed to entertain them into submission. Caesar, as an emperor and a master strategist, understood that victory belongs to those who control their focus. He managed an empire with ruthless efficiency, delegating everything that didn't demand his direct, undivided attention, ensuring his mental resources were always deployed on the highest value targets: conquest, policy, and personal mastery. Most people allow their attention to be dictated by external forces, the news, social media, the demands of others. They react rather than strategize. The Roman elite knew that to waste attention was to waste life itself. They cultivated fierce personal boundaries around their time and mental space. They understood that every minute spent on triviality is a minute stolen from building your empire. What are you allowing to steal your focus today? Is it the outrage machine on your phone? Is it the trivial gossip of others? Caesar would tell you that these are the barbarians at the gates of your mind, and you must slaughter them without mercy. Reclaim your attention. Treat it like the most precious commodity you possess. Because it is. The battlefield of the 21st century is within your skull, and the emperor who conquers his own focus will conquer everything else. We come to the end of this navigation, but for you, the true journey is just beginning. Caesar's legacy isn't just about his conquests or his political genius. It's about the mindset he cultivated, a mindset that saw comfort not as a reward, but as a silent assassin. He understood that true freedom isn't found in having fewer challenges, but in having the mental fortitude to welcome any challenge. Your comfort is the enemy, not because discomfort is inherently good, but because growth happens at the edges of your capacity, not in the center of your ease. The Roman elite carved an empire out of chaos by choosing the difficult path, by embracing the friction, and by declaring an internal war on their own desire for softness. What will be your legacy? Will you be another casualty of the comfortable life, a potential emperor who died dreaming on the sofa? Or will you choose the path of Caesar, the path of the sovereign who understands that true power is found in the willingness to suffer, to strive, and to consistently put yourself in positions where growth is the only option? The world outside will always be chaotic, always tempting you with ease, always trying to pull you back into the comfort of the herd. But the true battle is within. It is the daily decision to reject the lure of the soft life and to embrace the brutal, beautiful necessity of discomfort. Your empire awaits. But you must be willing to build it, stone by arduous stone, not with ease, but with the relentless, unyielding will of a conqueror. Now, go. The die is cast. Most people allow their attention to be dictated by external forces, the news, social media, the demands of others. They react rather than strategize. The Roman elite knew that to waste attention was to waste life itself. They cultivated fierce personal boundaries around their time and mental space. They understood that every minute spent on triviality is a minute stolen from building your empire. What are you allowing to steal your focus today? Is it the outrage machine on your phone? Is it the trivial gossip of others? Caesar would tell you that these are the barbarians at the gates of your mind, and you must slaughter them without mercy. Reclaim your attention. Treat it like the most precious commodity you possess, because it is. The battlefield of the 21st century is within your skull, and the emperor who conquers his own focus will conquer everything else.